Good morning. Something that's been on my mind recently is paying off debt. So there are lots of different ways to get debt-free these days. There's the debt snowball. Something interesting probably to look into if this is a topic that's interesting to you at the moment is life insurance policies, permanent life insurance policies that you can borrow from any time, and you're building up equity in this sort of account that you can use later on down the road. So that's something that's really interesting. They compare it to the infinite banking, the infinite banking idea that like Ray Kroc from McDonald's used or Walt Disney used when he was building Disney parks. So it's super interesting. I think in general, like what needs to happen is you need to shift your thinking, and you have to get motivated to do that. There's no way to just all of a sudden be passionate about like, oh yeah, I should get debt free. Probably the best way to get motivated to get debt free is to go type into a payoff debt calculator. You go online, you Google this, so easy, and it just pops right on Google. You don't have to go to another website, but you can. Anyway, you go type in, like, let's say your house payment or your car payment or whatever it is, and you type in the interest rate. You type in, if I paid this much extra per month, how fast would I pay it off? And especially with a house, like, every little bit it's amazing how impactful it is, because you're saving so much in interest. Interest kills. And maybe there's no way to get somebody to be passionate about like paying off debt or not going into debt in the first place, and unless they are there. I don't know, until you see the power of not having payments every month and having especially interest. So again, if you go back and you type into that your house payment and you see how much you're paying in interest, it's like more than your house. You're paying more in interest, more in just a thank you fee to the bank, because they are the ones that loaned you the money for your house. And there's something to be said for that. Like, they've got the money, you don't, you need a house. Like, yeah, you got to do. I don't know. It's easy to say, right? Oh, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have done things differently. And that's part of the reason that I'm trying to like educate you guys, my kids, on a lot of this stuff. Is if you're on the front, if you're early in this game and you don't have any debt, then try not to go into it. So even like buying a house, we're like, oh, you can't buy a house without debt. A lot of people do it. It's kind of crazy. You buy like a cheap, junky old house, and you buy it, and you may have some debt, but basically try to pay it off as fast as possible. You buy a junky house, or what's interesting is something called like house hacking, is you buy a duplex and live in half of it, and the people who are living in the other side are paying the mortgage on the entire thing, so you actually have no payment. It's really interesting. Basically living for free, and then you can save up money over time. And when you finally save up enough money, you can buy, the next house, and then you save up money because you don't have any payment on that one. You save up the money and you buy the next house, and you just like move your way up over time. Super interesting concepts, and a big problem with that is that everybody's mind is limited. Like, oh, I've never heard about this before, so you can't convince yourself that it's a real thing, that it's possible. It's the same thing with big business. People, basically like limit themselves and build these walls saying like, I can't start a huge business, or I can't invent a product that costs too much money, or I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't build up a social media platform, identity, or a channel, I guess, that has millions of followers. That's just that's not attainable for me. And yeah, like with that attitude, you're right. Basically, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you think you can't live a debt-free lifestyle, then yeah, you can't, you won't. But if you think you can, if you have to do enough research to convince yourself that you can, this is possible and people are actually doing this, that it's so powerful. If a young person could do that starting out their life, oh man, like the benefits down the road, massive. It's insane. So I encourage you to look more into that, living debt-free, paying off debt. You need to have some passion behind it, so you need to see the results. So that, like I said, type into a calculator, pay off debt faster, and what happens, how much money do you save if you pay off your house 5 years sooner or 10 years sooner? It's pretty incredible. It's powerful. So go do that. It's something to think about today for sure. And I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.